I can't tell you how many times I've started recording this episode. I also think I've said this in a previous episode that I've been struggling to find out how to do these episodes because I'm so used to interviewing and having a conversation when I'm recording, that having a conversation with a camera as opposed to an interview subject is a little bit odd for me. But I'm persisting because I want to bring you news about new Australian country music releases. I was going to say artists, but these artists I'm talking to you about are not necessarily new, or maybe they're new to you. So there you go. It might be a world of discovery, and I am persisting with trying to get better at recording these episodes on my own because I want to continue to bring you the new releases. I'm very much aware of how important discoverability is and how difficult it can be when we have traditional media channels that are a bit fractured and losing their power. And social media is how a lot of people are getting their information. And that's why I put these episodes out on social media as well as through the podcast platforms, because I want to spread the word. I love our Australian country music output and artists and their songs and their albums. And I really just hope as many people as possible find out about the music so that they can love it too, because music makes life better. It's a grandiose, sweeping statement. I am prepared to make it. Let's get on with the releases. The first song for you this week, and I'm recording on Sunday the 23rd of March, is Brad Cox's I'm a Boxer. So when Brad released his debut album, it was a self-titled album in 2018, I remember thinking what an incredible voice he had, but also the songs to go with it. Sometimes those things don't necessarily go hand in hand, and they don't have to. Singing voices are really powerful and important, and we respond to them as humans. And if there's a songwriter behind that voice, then that's wonderful, but there doesn't need to be in order for the voice to have power. And I do think Brad has one of the great voices. And a standout example of that on that album was Water on the Ground, which for me was the best single on the album, or the best song on the album. That's just my personal preference. Again, my opinion. There were other great songs on the album. He's had several wonderful songs on his 2 albums since then. My Mind's Projection in 2020 and Acres in 2023. He's had an ARIA nomination, at least one, Golden Guitars. So the man has been well recognised for his talent and his skill. And he's also a fantastic touring act. He likes to get around the country quite a bit. So you may well have already seen him live. If not, he may well be heading your way sometime soon. So in the past little while, Brad has signed with Warner Music Australia, and he released his first single with them, Everything I've Got. The latest single out with Warner is I'm a Boxer, which is a change of pace, literally, although Everything I've Got signalled this change of direction for Brad. I'm a Boxer is a change of pace, and a really, really good one, because it shows what has always been true, that his voice and the presence he has as a recording artist are notable across all styles of song. So he can basically make everything work. I'm a Boxer is infectious, super pacey, and that voice just cuts through. And I can also imagine Brad doing an acoustic version of the song that would be quite a different experience, but it working just as well. The next song is See Your Folks Again by the Buckleys. Now, I'm a huge fan of the Buckleys. They are a family band. They have members Sarah, Molly, Lachlan, and now officially Dylan on drums. So I saw Dylan first play with the Buckleys in Tamworth in January 2024, and at the time it wasn't certain that he was going to be joining the band because I think he still was at school, and now he's officially in the band. And so it's a great family quartet. And the reason why I love the Buckleys is actually from seeing them live. I did always like their recorded music. In fact, I love some of their songs. But when I first saw them live, I realized how powerful they are, and it's like a separate animal, that live animal with them. So if they are playing anywhere near you, please go and see them. They have a new song called See Your Folks Again, which was written by Sarah Buckley with Ned Houston and with Alex Lasker from Kingswood. The Buckleys were touring with Kingswood for a bit of last year. So obviously that went well for Sarah to write with Alex, and Alex has also produced this track. At the time I'm recording this, it's the tail end of CMC Rocks Festival in Queensland. The Buckleys have been performing at CMC Rocks, and hopefully they'll again be on the road. I live in Sydney. I think they've played in Sydney twice. Sydney's not that great for live venues anymore. However, I always cross my fingers that they'll pop up again you can cross your fingers too, and maybe you will get lucky and they will play in your town. So apart from writing with a member of Kingswood, the Buckleys have been writing with Queensland's sister trio Vixens of Fall to create the new Vixens single Sinkin Ships. So the Vixens, like the Buckleys, have the sibling harmony thing going on. It is a very real thing. Anyone who's a fan of the McClymonts or of Fanny Lumsden singing with her brother Tom will know about the sibling harmonies. And of course, there are other acts that have sibling harmonies like the Carpenters, but I think that the Vixens do it beautifully. So they've also been at CMC Rocks this weekend, and they'll be taking their amazing sound to Outback River Lights Festival, Outback Skies, Gympie Music Muster in August, and Urban Country Music Festival, which is returning after a hiatus. They'll also be at Savannah in the Rounds later this year, which is in Queensland. So many country music festivals in Queensland. I can't imagine anyone's doing a PhD on this, or any kind of research for that matter, but clearly there's something in the water in Queensland in relation to country music. Maybe it's just that a lot of Australians like to go to Queensland anyway for holidays, so it's a good place to put a country music festival as a destination. Or maybe Queenslanders just, outweigh the rest of us per capita in terms of country music love. I don't know. If anyone has a guess there and would like to tell me, please send me an email or drop it in the comments. The last track for this podcast, there'll be some honourable mentions, but the last track I'm going to tell you much about is Prison Wall by Roger Knox, who is a Gomeroi songman and storyteller known as the Koori King of Country. This new single has been released ahead of his appearance at Garinji Dundibara Janan in Toowoomba on the 4th of April. Says Roger of the song, "I've been performing in the prisons for many years. It's a place where you have to give it everything you've got." The song is taken from Roger's 6th studio album, which will be released later this year. Now, the couple of honourable mentions are honourable mentions that I'm not including in the audio version of this podcast with tracks because I don't actually have the MP3s for them. So when I put these episodes together, I first of all decide what I want to talk about, and then I check that I actually have access to the files. Sometimes I don't because I haven't been sent them in a press release or something similar. So I can't therefore put them into the podcast stream. In the YouTube version, if you're watching this, you will see the links to the songs below. But those of you who are listening to the audio version, you'll just have to go and find these songs yourself. So first of all, I'm going to mention the EP from Angus Gill and Eric McCusker. Now, Eric is formerly of Mondo Rock, and Angus is a prolific artist who's been releasing music since his teens. I've interviewed him at least twice, maybe more, and think he's got such a great way with songs, songwriting, and he moves across genres within country music because he's so interested in it all. So they have a single out from that EP called Holy Rose Hotel, and anything Angus puts out I'm automatically interested in because of his talent, so go and check that out. And the last honourable mention is Olivia Foy's track Cruise Control. Now, Olivia is a country pop artist who graduated the Academy of Country Music in 2023. I can't find out much about Olivia, but I always really like her songs. So she's put out a handful of singles. I don't know exactly how many. I always like listening to them because I love country pop, and I think she has a really great handle on the genre, and I'm always interested to see what she's coming out with next. So Olivia Foy, Cruise Control, that's your last honourable mention. This is the end of the podcast.